Hello. I actually filmed yesterday and I had quite a nice shot set up. It looked like this. And then kind of like everything went wrong and now it doesn't exist. It was a good video. It was about, well, I'm going to do it again today in this video, so you're not going to miss out on the information, but I was quite happy with that shot. And I was going to set it up again today and get all the lighting nice and done and right, but outside it's not too happy. Yeah, not my favourite. And we're dealing with winds of like, I think it's 80 miles an hour. So I guess we're doing this indoors and nicely. I have to set up, but first I need to make coffee so that I can chill out and talk to you about, wow, that is bad. Stuff's coming off houses. That's bad. The government, the weather people issued like a red weather warning, which is like, it's pretty bad. It means risk to life in some areas. And I'm within that red area. Exciting. Time to make coffee and sit down and talk. Let's do that. Oh, transition. Grinder, papers, and we will drink. Right, so what did you miss? Well, in that first video, what I talked about was how I got here. So here is 10 years later, having a career mixing metal. And the reason why that was the subject for the video was because over the last couple of weeks, what I've been doing is I've been doing online tutoring, so one-to-ones over Zoom. And I also went to a university in London recently where I gave a talk for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, about the mistakes that I've made over those last 10 years in my career. And I thought that was quite interesting. What it encouraged me to do was build a timeline of everything that's happened, and it made me realize that I'd missed a few steps. Like I'd forgotten about stuff that I'd done and things that sort of led to other bits and pieces. And so that's what we're talking about today. It's encapsulated by the fact that also on, is that going to turn on? Yeah. On Instagram, I also did a Q&A, and a lot of people asked me, how do I get clients? Or more clients? How do I build business? And it's sort of like all within the same bubble of story. So that's where we're at today. First coffee, told you what's happening. I'm hoping my fence is going to fall over. Look at this. That's not straight. Wow. All right. That's that done. So yeah, I'm now just going to make coffee and sit down and have a chat with you with everything that I've learned. Willow's not too sure what to do. Bad? Yeah, it's not doing too great out there. But hello, my cats have now come upstairs because it's horrible. I need my glasses. Hang on. What? Most YouTubers would probably, well, other YouTube channels would probably approach this like 5 top tips on how to not suck and make your parents like you and make money at the same time and be more attractive to the opposite sex. But it doesn't really work out that way. And the reason for that is that had anyone told me 10 years ago how to get here and broken it down into 5 steps, I probably would have listened, but then gotten them wrong. And I wouldn't have known how that directly applies to me and my specific set of circumstances. And my specific set of circumstances was I couldn't hold a normal job down. I kept getting fired. I got fired from a supermarket after 4 months because every night doing stock check, they knew I was dyslexic. They still asked me to do stock check. I would knock thousands of pounds worth of stock out of inventory, and then it would be someone else's job to go and find it the next day. Sorry, I'm people watching, and they're trying to walk into the wind, and they're not doing too well. So that's what's going on. And yeah, I got fired, and that happened, and that was okay. I don't mind getting fired. By the way, this is my new room in my house. This is where I write music, or will be writing music. I'm writing music. Ta-da, announcement. So then I get asked these questions. How do I make money? How do I meet people? How do I get clients? How do I do this? How do I do that? And the answer is as simple as it is abstract. So bear with me. First, we have to identify where you are placing yourself visually and accessibility wise to the people that you may want to work with. What is your shop window? And your shop window is what is the easiest piece of information about you that people can find that will then lead them to working with you or not. So for me, my shop window now is the Loathe and the Sleep Token albums, and eventually it will then be the Thornhill and the Monuments albums that are going to come out, and the Pride Lands album that just came out. All these things will become my shop window. They will be the focal point for how people get to know who I am and how to find me. But when I was starting out, my shop window was none of these things, and I only realized this after kind of going back in time. My shop window, I had no idea about, was 10 years ago. I wasn't a music producer. I'd started out life as a graphic artist. Back then we had a website called MySpace, which you could design custom layouts for, and bands used this as their way of advertising their identity, and my job was quite simply to make them layouts. This unknowingly built my network. This tastes really good, by the way. Really, really good. I'll put a link or a picture or something of where I bought the coffee from. Really good. And this built my network that I didn't know I was going to need for recording, but it built my network. So that when I got fired by that supermarket and I ended up moving back in with my dad and I had to convert a space into a studio, when I was showing people this process of me building a studio, they were the people that were able to see it. That was my shop window. At that point in time, the social networks that I was part of, which was mainly Facebook and Instagram, but Instagram was still in its infancy back then, this was me talking to them and going, this is what I'm doing. This will be available. And the way this relates to you, the person watching this going, how do I make money? How do I meet people? Is it's really likely you have something that's already available to you that you can show people that people would like to see. So then the next stage of that is what is your shop window? After that is where is your audience? So 10 years ago, my audience online was in a completely different place to where yours will be now. So you have to put yourself in front of the people where they're looking with the stuff that they may or may not be looking for. They don't know yet. But does this make sense? I hope this makes sense. So in this instance now, for me, it's Instagram with stuff that's, the cats are fighting. Girls. So this looks like, for me, being on Instagram, being available, using the stories format to show people what I'm doing every day, sharing my personality, sharing insights into how I view the world, along with my work success. What this does is this allows people to see me as me. They're going to be really distracting. I don't know if you can hear them, but if you can, I'm really sorry. It allows me to share my work success, who I am, and it invites people to know me as a person. Now, obviously, when we start out, people don't really care who we are as people. They care about the thing that we provide, which is why we go back to the shop window, we look at where people are, and then we look at how people are looking for that information. And then the fourth stage is simply learning how to communicate with people. And the best piece of advice I can give anyone with regards to that is ask good questions. Don't ask, maybe can I mix for you or stuff like this, because pitching yourself as a business to someone that doesn't want to be pitched to is never a good idea. It's never a way. You'll get some success, but you won't have an easy time creating genuine rapport with someone. And this genuine rapport, it takes time. So the easiest guide that I can give you in that sense is to talk to people and ask. For me, what I started doing was I started going up to bands and I asked them about their last release. I asked how it went, because I was genuinely interested. These were bands that I liked, that I was fans of these bands, but I then went on to go and work with them. So I'd ask about their release, I'd ask about how it went, I'd ask them what their plan is next and what they're gearing up for. And that information gave me a timeline of, all right, so if they're in mid-cycle, I know by this point they'll be demoing. That's the point where I hit them up next and I ask, how's it going? That's the point where I start laying foundation for that stuff. Because you don't pitch for the next stuff whilst they're focusing on the latest stuff. You pitch for the next stuff when they're in that pocket of indecision. And that simple layout of being able to keep track of multiple people, multiple bands, understanding their schedule, understanding when the next best point to talk to them would be, that is ultimately those points is ultimately the foundation of how I got here, outside of the luck of releases, because I can't control that. Those communication tactics and approaches with people are what got me here, I think. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I learned along the way. I did also learn that being able to film myself and take good photographs has been really advantageous for Instagram and YouTube. I'm just saying, if you can learn that stuff, it's not going to do you any harm. You're just going to have another way of communicating what you get to do as a living or as a hobby. I think that's quite cool. So, success. I managed to get this video done and hopefully online before my house caves in. But I hope that information is useful to you. If you manage to get to this point, you are genuinely better than the majority of people that watch my videos. Most people click off about halfway through, so thank you very much. You're not a dickhead. Everyone else that clicks off, well, they'll never hear me say these words, but you know what I think. What have been your tactics? What have you found that's worked for you that generate you genuine conversations that have led to success? Have you had any? What has failed? What hasn't worked? Leave it down below. I'm interested about this discussion, and hopefully this sort of storytelling aspect of my world will become the new normal for this channel. I'm quite enjoying learning how to tell stories at the moment and share that insight, so that's really great. So now I'll sign off. Until next time, don't be a dickhead. No, don't be a dick. Wow, it's been a long time. Don't be a dick. Eat your goddamn vegetables, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and drink good coffee. For the love of God, drink good coffee. All right, bye.